Hi, Tali.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Very happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
Yes, podcast. That's an interesting concept, and a very interesting concept to have you here because, well, at least to whoever sees us or listen to us now, we are the Automobility Incubator, which, at least at the first sight, has nothing to do with what you're doing, but we claim there's a lot to do with what you're doing. And we're going to prove it now. So first of all, maybe in a few words, Tali, who are you?
I'm Tali. I'm a singer-songwriter based in Luxembourg. Throughout my life, I have lived in many different countries, including Israel, Chile, Argentina, Luxembourg, New York. And that really shows in my writing. I write a lot about identity and traveling and my multicultural background. And yeah, I went to New York to study musical theater, and then things picked up when I went to the Eurovision, and now I do music full time.
Amazing. So again, very happy to have you here. And if to drill down a little bit more specific to why we think you're very relevant to what we're doing here is the concept that has a very direct similar lines for what you're doing and what we are doing as a place that encourage entrepreneurship. And that is making mistakes and breaking boundaries. At the first glance, how do you see that?
I've gone through many, many, many rejections. I think when I was in New York in my last year of college, I think I had like 120 plus auditions, and every single one of them was a no. Even if I got through the last stage of auditioning, nearly getting the role, it was between me and another girl, and the other girl got it. And so I think it really shows that you just need to keep going no matter what until that one opportunity comes. And I think it's the same with startups where you are the only one that's believing in yourself. Like, sure, you might have some people believing in yourself, but no one believes in yourself until you show success. And that's just how life is. So for me, it was just about that inner strength of believing in yourself, as cheesy as it sounds, and really finding that inner strength and just trusting yourself that you're doing the right thing and that you're pitching the right thing and that you're coming in a room, showing who you are and being yourself, honestly.
Nice. I want to challenge that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because easy to say, hard to do.
Absolutely.
And most, I guess, artists, just like startups or entrepreneurs, they understand the theory, and then practically a lot of them stops when they get maybe not the first rejection, but when they get the 50 rejection. And you mentioned 120, right? So
Yeah.
it takes a lot of strength
Yeah.
to continue after 119
Yeah.
and to do the 120. So if I challenge that with you, where does this, strength, and what would be the biggest tip you can give for these people?
Great question. For me, it's not about talent. It's not about money. Like, there's so many things we can talk about. For me, it's about that strength. And those are the people that end up making it. And I see it through and through with my inner circle, the bigger circle in life. It isn't something that comes, like, it's something that you're born with, I think, and something you work on as well. And I think it also has to do with exposure. The more mistakes and the harder you get up every time, the better you become at accepting rejection. I think the first times that I was getting rejected in New York, like, I'm going to this Broadway audition. It's my first dream job. And like, you go in and you get that rejection, that one hurt a lot, right? But then the more you do it, the more it becomes this sort of routine of accepting the no. And I think just knowing that whatever is meant for you will happen. Like, I don't know if that's a delusional thing that I told myself, but that is what I did to be here. and to really just keep going. And I still get rejections all the time. So I think that's what's going to set you apart in a room. It's if you're able to still believe in yourself when people don't.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I can say that's a critical thing, and that's one of the things that we're trying to embrace here and to promote here, and that is making mistakes in a way as much as possible until you get what you want.
Absolutely.
And how would you look at that? Again, where does it stop? I mean, where do you see the next failure as the last failure? The one that you would tell to yourself, okay, I'm stopping because I'm probably not good at what I'm doing, or okay, this is just another lesson.
Great question. I've been there. I've been there where I called my dad and I was like, I am giving up. I don't want to do this anymore. I completely broke down, and it was around those 100 plus rejections. And it is a really hard thing. Like, it's easy to just say, oh, we'll just keep going until you get it. Well, what if you never get it? Right. And what is it also? Right. So I think it's a really hard thing. Like, that's all I have to say. Like, it's really, really hard. And I think those critical moments where you are giving up, you're about to give up everything that you've ever put into this career, that is the test. That is the test of real artistry, of real entrepreneurship, of real strength. Those moments.
Would it be true if I say that just actually what you just said, that this is where you differentiate yourself from the others? Not necessarily, you're very talented, don't get me wrong, you are. And this is where you differentiate yourself from the others, because there are other very talented singer songwriters, actors, and so on, artists. Not all of them has the mental strength.
Yes. Yeah, something that I was taught at home always from the beginning is that mental strength of just keep going. And not only that, I think also keeping your feet on the ground. That is something that I carry with me always. It's like, even if things are going well, you just never know how long it's going to last. You never know how long it's going to stay relevant. You need to keep working for the next thing. And I'm sure it's the same with startups. It's like, well, now this is going great, but what's the next thing? What if this doesn't go well? Like, asking yourself all those questions and staying grounded and humble, because you just never know where things are going to go. So I think if I were to say like two things that kind of keep me in rooms is humble and staying grounded, and the mental strength of keeping with it.
Yeah, that's very true and very relevant for the entrepreneurship business. Because yes, we have a lot of examples of company startups that had a small success, which is not obvious, small yet very significant and important. It doesn't mean that that's it. They are now, the next unicorn or whatever it is. No, not at all. It's just a small success, and it still means that you need to wake up tomorrow morning and work as hard as you worked the day before.
Absolutely.
Cool. Let's talk about breaking boundaries, because we have 2 points here, which are very connected, I think, unless you think differently. I wonder. But one is making mistakes. The other one is breaking boundaries, right? And breaking boundaries, the way I think of it, is how to differentiate yourself professionally. How do you see yourself in that? And are you breaking boundaries in your perspective? I think you are. Practically, you did already. I should say, with Eurovision as an example. So yes, you were the first representative of Luxembourg since many years. I forgot how many years. Remind me.
31.
31. Okay, so a lot of years. A lot of things have happened in the world in 31 years. So that is, by definition, breaking boundaries. And not to mention that, okay, you came from the outside of Luxembourg and proudly represented Luxembourg. And that's also not an obvious thing.
Yeah.
How do you see that?
Yeah. Breaking boundaries. As an artist, I can say that that is probably one of the hardest things, to be able to differentiate yourself from such a competitive pool of people in the world when so many people are doing the same genre. Even pop is, everyone's doing it. Everyone is pretty, everyone is talented, everyone has a good team. It's really, really hard. My biggest tip and the biggest thing that I carry with me is that you are enough. And if you are authentically yourself, people will see that, whether that is through interactions with fans, whether that is through live shows, whether that is through my actual lyrics, podcasts, like anything that I do. I just try to stay as authentic to who TALI is. And I think that's what's going to make me stand out from someone like Adele, because we're completely different, right? Or someone like Billie Eilish, right? Like we have a very similar sound. However, Billie Eilish is a completely different person, completely different style. I think also it's a brand. Like when you're an artist, you have to treat it as a brand.
Right.
And it's like, what do you wear? How do you come across? Are you more of like the best friend artist, or are you more the mysterious, like Lady Gaga?
Right.
Like there's a lot of questions that you need to ask yourself, that I've been, it's a lot of work. Like I open up a Google Doc and I ask myself these questions, make sure that every single thing that I do leads back to this brand that I'm trying to build. And this brand can obviously change throughout time. It can be, I can have a pop album, but then in 10 years I can do a jazz album if I want, and then completely change the vision, right? But I think it's about being specific and being deliberate with what you're doing.
Another question, different angle. So a little bit about your personal experience again, which is super relevant for companies that we are dealing with, who are coming from the outside of Luxembourg into Luxembourg. So Luxembourg is trying to attract good and the best entrepreneurs that are out there to come here and to establish their business here. You did something similar when you moved from the big New York to Luxembourg.
Well, yeah, first of all, my move to New York changed my life. I think if I didn't move to New York, I would not be who I am today. I would probably not have gone to the Eurovision. I would not do all of the things that I'm doing, and so well. I think that city, if you make it here, you make it anywhere. And I really, really believe in that now that I've been there. The tough skin that it gives you, and just like the cultural hub that it is, and the amount of art that inspires you in that city is so phenomenal. Having that experience of, again, rejection, seeing so many amazing people, even in my class alone, it was insane.
You went to school where?
I went to school in Marymount Manhattan College in Manhattan. Yeah, it just really pushes you. And then when you come to us, I mean, it's a really small country, right? And there's a lot of potential for startups, and also recently for the arts. I think that's something I'm trying to do as well, like really push the arts here in Luxembourg. But it's still in its beginning stages of art and music. And so coming from such a creative place like New York to a small bubble of Luxembourg, like that really helped me to stand out and come prepared for that.
I think it's a brave yet calculated decision, because theoretically, and again, very similar to entrepreneurship, one would think, okay, I'm already in New York, one of the best places in the world to talk about art, to deal with art, and to promote myself as an artist. And then to decide to try a different angle, which is unique in a way, breaking boundaries, and go to a place where there's a need.
Absolutely. And I think it's like small fish in a big pond, and, all that. I think big fish in a small pond, right? Like really, it wasn't so calculated, honestly.
Okay.
But when it did happen, I understood that sometimes starting from, your home and your this local bubble can lead you to way bigger things than going as a really, really small fish to New York and competing with people that are 20 years older than me that have done Hollywood films in the same room as me. Obviously, I'm not going to get the part, right? And so I think it was a really smart move that now is giving me leverage in my brand and my artistry to go to New York and do get those venues that I was trying to get, and fill out a venue. So I think, as you said, like sometimes you have to start smaller, but know that it'll go well and that you'll have the right audience. I think audience and being a big fish in a small pond is sometimes the way to start.
I take out of it what you said. It wasn't. It was in a way, if I translate, a coincidence,
Yeah, yeah,
but it also takes. You need to know how to catch those coincidences, those
absolutely.
opportunities, and not to just reject them just because. I mean, the same breed you would be able to say, you could have said, "I'm in New York now. Why should I,
Yeah,
go to Luxembourg with all, respect to Luxembourg?" And of course, it turned out amazingly because you
yeah,
represented Luxembourg for the Eurovision, which is not a small thing at all. But it's it's still in a way a decision that you need to be brave enough. Correct me if I'm wrong.
no, absolutely.
To catch it and to be smart enough even to catch it and not just to say, because I guess right next to that opportunity there would have been other opportunities, but somehow that one worked, and there's never
Absolutely.
somehow.
Yeah, I agree. Of course. I think also being a good, successful artist is about knowing when to seize the opportunities when they come to you. And I'm sure it's the same with entrepreneurship. Like, you need to make the decisions and the steps in this path. And you need to know, okay, we're going to do this. We're not going to do this. We're going to take this opportunity. This opportunity isn't great enough. And really try and craft that path as well. So it wasn't calculated, but obviously I made the choice to buy that plane ticket and come and audition. And that was obviously, I had nothing to lose. And I was like, why not? Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Nice.
Let's make
Small
it
commercial
happen.
here for Luxembourg. Let's make it happen. That's
Coincidence?
for whoever doesn't know, "Let's make it happen" is I think the official slogan, no?
Yeah, the official slogan, I
of
think.
Luxembourg.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. A little bit, digging a little bit more into making mistakes and so on. We were talking about how you deal, or how you still dealing. We're all still dealing with mistakes and failures all the time. And you were mentioning, just stay strong and so on.
Yeah.
But beside the mental thing, any scientific thing?
I mean, this is simple, but I think staying balanced in your lifestyle is really important to be mentally strong. Like, those two things are very, very hand in hand. So, are you doing enough sport? Are you eating properly? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you hanging out with people that you love? Are you living in a home that makes you happy? Like, all of these questions that you need to ask yourself in order to creatively be successful. And I think that if you're not in environments that serve you, you are not going to be successful, right? And so I think if we're talking for something more logical, it's like, are all these things in my life serving me? And, so for me, I love yoga. I love to journal. A lot of my failures link to my creativity, actually, as well. So when I would get rejected a lot, that's the time where I would like introspectively write about how much it was hurting me. And then that's when I would just like grab a guitar or grab a piano and write about how hard it is to be an artist, which I think is something that a lot of people relate. Like, how do I become successful? Like, how do I make money? How do I be authentic and impact people? Everyone wants to impact people and everyone wants to be out there. And so that's something that I would write as well a lot. So not only just like basics of like, am I sleeping enough? Am I eating? Like, am I happy? But also using those failures to creatively write and make music, because that is like what people relate to.
Question about cultures. In a way, breaking boundaries, in a way, making mistakes. Being in Luxembourg as a foreigner, with different, like you mentioned at the beginning, different cultural experience like you, how do you see this in your professional life? Is it a challenge? Is it a plus? Is it a benefit? And if it's a challenge, can you make it a benefit? Are you making it a benefit?
Absolutely a benefit, if you ask me. I think that unlike other artists who are just singing in English or just singing in Spanish or, just singing in one language, like I'm able to sing in a lot of languages.
Right.
And I think
How many languages, by the way?
5.
5 languages, which
Yeah.
is
French, Spanish, English, Hebrew, and a little German. I don't know,
amazing.
German, a little bit.
Amazing.
2 years at school. Yeah, so I think those languages not only are able to, I can talk to a lot of people. The second that you talk the language that someone is fluent in, immediately there's a click. And I think that that's something that really helps with business is like the more languages, the more you can connect to a deeper level with people from all over the world, which is like the goal, right? Like you're trying to make something international, something like globally. So that's something that I'm super thankful for my childhood, that I was able to move around from place to place and really learn and be super open-minded about the world. And I think being worldly is very important. And I, thank God, had the privilege to do that and meet, really get to know South America,
Right.
Chile, Argentina, and also Europe and America, and there's still a lot more for me to see. But this is really what makes me me. And I think the second that, even on social media, like the second that I do these snapping videos that have been going viral where I
Right.
just sing in different languages,
Right.
immediately it gets like the most views, more than any other song that's just in one language. And I think that's because it's really reaching every single culture of my followers. Like there's like 10% is Spanish, there's 10, and I can really see in the statistics like how it's hitting different cultures in different countries in the world. And I think having this multilingual and multicultural background makes it have a potential to be more global, as a brand. So
Well, again, Luxembourg is a very international place.
yeah.
I think 50% of the population, residents, are foreigners. And it's a huge benefit based on just what you just said, that you have this exposure. You cannot avoid it when you're in Luxembourg. And that's great. I would even, if I take it, and correct me if I'm wrong, I would take it because when you're an entrepreneur, okay, so we don't sing, so it's the language, and it is also the culture.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and the fact that you have this variety of languages plus cultures, because it's really not just to understand Spanish, yes or no. You also know, in a way, what to do and not to do when you talk to people from, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously, when you have that granularity, even so, I guess people from you talk differently with people from Argentina to people from Chile, from
Yeah.
Peru, from yeah.
I do actually, yeah. Even the dialects and the
There
accents.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like a chameleon and you're able to fit in many rooms. And I think it helps in my personal life because I get to meet a lot of cool people. But business wise, it's awesome because the second that I ask where people are from, and then I can connect way more than if I just spoke English with them. Because then they're like, oh, like they get me. Like it's this sort of connection that puts me above someone else who doesn't speak that language. So yeah.
I want to ask about well, I guess or I don't know if it's the right way of saying it in English, but being shy, or which is again being shy, meaning, if I do a very cheap psychology here, being afraid of showing out who you are, what you have to give. And entrepreneurs can have that as well, and can also have that, for example, when they pitching for investors, companies, and so on. Give me a tip.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
The more practice you are, the less nervous you're going to be. Like that's for me, if we're talking just logically, that is how it's going to be. Obviously, there's always going to be nerves, always. I still get super, super nervous before shows.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, ask anyone from my team. Like I really get nervous. And I think something that helps me is going through my five senses, like sitting down or standing up, closing my eyes. What do I smell? What do I taste? What do I hear? Hear is a really good one. Okay, I hear someone walking. Okay, I hear this. I hear that. It basically just grounds you. It's like psychologically, going through your five senses also helps anxiety. Like it's proven that the second that you start to meditate and you feel your body and you feel your surroundings, it brings you back to the present. And that always helps. Like breathing exercises, like these are just classic things that help biologically your heart rate to slow down. And that really helps me. But yeah, I would say practice the out of what your pitch and what you need to do, and breathing exercises and whatever helps you. Honestly, I think it's very individual. Some people are like, I can't do the breathing thing. It just makes me more nervous, and I connect to my heart and it makes me nervous.
Okay.
Okay. But I think it just depends like per individual. But I think something that's all around is practice.
Did it ever happen to you that you canceled an event, show because of that?
No, actually. I've never canceled an event because I wasn't practiced.
Even though you, like I said, you are getting nervous before shows,
Yes.
but still.
I've always done things even if I was really nervous. Always. I've had a lot of mistakes because I was nervous all the time. I messed up lyrics. I remember I was doing a show and I had like red lipstick and it was all over my face. Someone was like, TALI, like was going like this, like you need a napkin. And then I look and I'm like full of lipstick and obviously that's super embarrassing. So then I messed up the words and then people were laughing. Like I've had like a lot of moments where, mistakes happen, things go wrong. But I think, you just gotta keep going. Like, I don't know.
Like I said, easy to say, hard to do.
It really is hard to do. I've been there, I know, but
that's a differentiator.
Yeah.
That's a differentiator.
Yeah, absolutely.
And about the lipstick, of course, I'm familiar with the situation. Yeah. I get it all the time. You have tips, I'll tell you later.
Yeah, you tell me your tips for that.
TALI, we are at the Automobility Incubator, which is about in mobility, cars, but not just. It can be submarines, space shuttles, airplanes, scooters, and whatever else that moves from one point to another in a smart way. If you were a vehicle, what kind of a vehicle would you be?
I think it would have to be a hybrid vehicle.
Okay.
Because I feel like I know when to push hard, but I also know when to conserve energy. And I think being a long-term successful artist or entrepreneur is to be able to know when to conserve also energy and to save that and when to really, really go hard. And so that I think called my name.
Nice,
Yes.
nice. I think this is a very smart answer that's super relevant to the entrepreneurship world, because we said it before. Sometimes startups they have small successes, and then either they put their leg off the
gas,
of the gas, or they think they're in the right way, and then they crash.
Yeah.
Also, and also, it's a long ride. I mean, you're not establishing a business to be operated typically just for 1 month, and that's it. And so you need to be calculated, and you need to understand the bigger picture. And when, just like you said, when to put more, and where also to hold on for a second and see what's going on.
Absolutely.
That's smart.
Thank you.
I like that.
Thanks.
Cool. TALI, we're reaching out to the end. Final words for those young entrepreneurs who are now looking, to get to their Eurovision or make it big internationally and so on. What would you tell them?
Oh, I think one that I forgot to mention, like during this podcast, is that I've learned, especially this year, is not to trust people too quickly. I think it's something we don't talk about enough. And me as a person who has a big heart and like really just is super open, I think I've learned to have more boundaries as an artist and really only let people in that you truly trust to your business and work with people that are genuinely have the same heart as you and want, because not everyone has the same heart as you. And I think that's something that's sad about humanity, but it's true. And it's a very important thing in business is to be able to work with the right people, and whoever you do bring into that startup and you do bring into that world that you're trying to build that you believe in so much is to really think about that. So that's one. Number two, I would say trust your gut. Like if my gut feels it and if I feel that it's the right thing, go for it. Like I know it might sound a little spiritual for some people who are more logical and lead with logic, but I'm very much like lead with my gut. And the third thing is like, I've said this over and over again today, but like believe in yourself. Believe in yourself because no one else will as hard as you do.
I love this answer because, it shows practically that you are, well, these are very entrepreneurial answers, which to me shows again this amazingly direct line between what you're doing and what the good startups that we are hosting are doing. If I can even use a small local cliche, you're showing you're a real fighter.
Thank you. I love it.
Tai, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was a pleasure.
Yes.
And we look forward to see, your next peaks. And we will be proud to say that we once hosted you here in our podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.